Hi guys, this is Danica. I'm your resident career coach, recruiter, and now an entrepreneur as well. So, as you all know, I've already coached over 100 clients from all over the world, including the Philippines, North America, Europe and Middle East, Africa, and even Asia, of course. Thing about me, I help in job seeking, career exploring, and career changing for my clients. So I help them figure that out basically through one on one coaching and sometimes some group coaching. So I just wanted to share that before I move on, this is what I look like when my clients get help from me. I usually have this headset with the microphone and it. Thank you so much to my friend who sold me this headphone or this headset. So why am I doing this? I just basically want to create a platform or an audio visual resource for me to help people gain good advice from me. People have been telling me that I've been giving good advice, and I guess I give credit to myself for doing that because of all of the many clients I've been talking to in the past year in my coaching career. So today I'm going to debunk the 5 myths that people keep inquiring about job seeking in general or careers in general. And I'm honestly getting a bit tired answering these questions. So here's this platform or here's this resource for you to know what the answer is. Number one, is a photo appropriate for a resume? There are two answers to that, yes and no. It's debatable actually, and it actually depends. See what I did there? I'm an at the end, that's why I say it depends. So let's dissect the two answers. A photo is appropriate and a photo is not appropriate. For people who think that a photo is not appropriate, they're just being careful about it, because for practices that are very biased, companies would look at the photo to assess a person's capabilities, which is wrong and which isn't really good for any party, either the employer or the candidate. It's not really good for any of them. So there are instances where recruiters just see a photo and reduce the capability of the person by the photo, and they end up not inviting the person to the interview, which is bad. And especially because I've heard that in cases like that, they end up regretting their decision because it turns out the candidate is high performing. So um, that's where we have to be careful about it, because there are biases that some industries practice which can't be avoided. But for very progressive industries with high level technology and a good framework to use, a photo isn't supposed to be detrimental to your application. In fact, it is a plus, because when you're humanizing your resume by putting a face to the name, people actually appreciate that, and they'd actually um, understand better, or rather, it just humanizes the your profile more, which is actually good, because we're people. We like people. We like relating to other people, and seeing your photo will make you more relatable. I hope that answers that myth. Second, um, uh, your age and your years of experience speaks of your credibility. That's actually not always the case, because for example, I've worked with two people in the past, or in my previous job, one of my previous jobs. So one of them has been in the industry for 5 years, and the other has only been in the industry for 2 years. I bet you can't guess who who was the more senior one. So guess what? The person who only spent 2 years in the industry was more senior than the one who spent 5 years in the industry. That's because tenure, or your length of stay in a company or in an industry, does not necessarily give you the benefit of having more responsibility. What if during that time where you spent 5 years in the company, you were only just sitting down waiting for somebody to tell you what to do? Then there's this other person who only spent 2 years in the industry or in the company, who was very proactive about what needs to be done and was actually able to learn more than the person who spent 5 years in the company. So there are instances like that. So bottom line, tenure doesn't equal credibility, or doesn't equal a high learning curve. Some people actually learn more uh, um, in a short span of time rather than other people who had to spend years trying to understand what's happening in the industry. Another example, this is more of a personal experience. Um, I actually reached out to some clients in the past. One of them saw in my photo, which is related to the first myth, that I looked so young. So she was in the US and she pointed out that I was so young, and she even popped up the question, how do I know if this should, or if this could help me? And I didn't really think about the fact that I was too young, or that I wasn't capable. I only said, hey, you know what? I'm Asian. That's why I look young. And that's the best response anybody could ever give to that situation. So, um, what I learned from my career is that years of experience don't really matter. It's the wealth of experience. How much you understand the industry or the profession or the problems that an industry is facing. That's more important than the length of stay in the industry, right? So, yeah, I guess that's a shocking revelation for some people. I actually talked to this client. He's now a client, by the way. I underwent a discovery call with him. He, I saw him looking a bit hesitant taking my advice. And, well, he ended up liking what I was saying. He judged me because of how young I looked and because I was in the Philippines and he was in the United States. Then when I showed him my capabilities by answering some of his questions during the discovery call, he was so amazed that he even asked me how long a time did it take for me to do this profession, or how long was I in the profession. I said that um, I was only 1 year in the career coaching profession. And he had a follow-up question asking me if I only worked for a year. And I said, no, I worked for 3 years, but in the career coaching profession, I've only been staying for a year. And he was so shocked. He said, what, you've only worked for 3 years? You sound like you've been doing this for decades. He said something like that. And it just goes to show that the age and the experience, the years of experience, doesn't really matter. It's the wealth of experience, and at the end of the day, people don't really care um what your credibility, what your um credentials are. Rather, what they care more is, can you solve their problems? That's the most important part for them to know if they should hire you. Third, no, there are no more jobs in the market. Technology is taking over. I think this is a limiting belief, rather. So, true, there are jobs that get eliminated in the market as time goes by. The world is evolving, jobs get eliminated, and it does get taken over by technology, but it doesn't mean that there aren't going to be jobs available. It's just that more complex jobs will be created as the world evolves. Think about it, there are jobs in the past that don't exist anymore because computers exist, cell phones exist already. Transportation such as cars exist. Horses aren't used anymore in transportation. There are a lot of jobs that got eliminated because of technology. But and because of that, or rather, it doesn't mean that there aren't any more jobs. It just means that there are more complex jobs that came about, right? So And about having no more jobs in the market, I think that's false. You're just looking at the job postings online. You haven't seen 75% of the other jobs in the market, which is hidden. Some people don't want to post it online. Some people don't want to spend on Caliber, Monster, or LinkedIn to post a job online because it is a cost. If they can find a way to actually reduce cost and still get a candidate, they would do it. And that's the reason why you're not seeing their job posts online. Simple as that. So, number four, I some people think that they have to take a master's degree or a PhD and other certifications in order for them to be more marketable. That's kind of debatable, but I don't think they see the point. So, in my perspective, I think anyone can have opportunities regardless of having a master's degree or a certification. Some people go into a master's degree because they want to prove their the rigor that they can go through because of the difficulty of a master's degree. Some of them go to a master's degree because they want to meet with other people in the class because it's a networking opportunity, which is actually more value adding than the knowledge that they get. They share best practices with each other. That's one of the reasons why people go into a master's degree. So for certifications, some people get certifications because they think they'd be more marketable that way. People don't actually understand that these are just people's way to put their foot on the door, but it's not exactly the reason why they get hired. People need to prove that they have the skill and the knowledge to actually be able to deliver results, be able to solve problems within an industry. That's the only reason why master's degrees and certifications work. It's not them per se, it's what you get out of it, what the opportunity is for that. Some people, for example, get opportunities from a certification because they have somebody else in their network who has the same certification, and because of probably um, I don't know what the better term is, maybe nepotism. Because of nepotism, um, people get these opportunities just because of a title on their credential, and that's another benefit that people can get out of that. And lastly, asking for help and recommendations is unethical. It's not. Let's face it, we don't live in a world with pure equity. We all are in the same storm, but we're riding different boats. Some boats are wrecking down, some boats are just planks, some boats are yachts, and some boats are as big as the Titanic. People with bigger boats are, some of them rather, are kind enough to take you in if you need their resources. Some people collect all of the resources in the world so that they're the ones who will be allocating it to other people. Don't be shy to ask for help from people you need their resources for, because some of them are kind enough to give it to you. We're all relational beings, and asking for help is not um, alien to anyone. It's actually a good thing. So don't be shy asking for help. Um, we all want to help each other here. And if you need the help that you need, just go simply ask it from other people and you will get it. And that ends my vlog. It was so long. I hope it wasn't boring you, but there you go. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the probably next episode. Thank you.